Good morning, Grandpa. We finally find the time to have such a conversation. And I will quickly go through the 7 topics before we start, okay? So I know this year you are 93 years old. So the first topic is I'm really interested about your, almost a century life experience. The second topic is that during World War II, you are around 10 years old, something like that, I guess. And I'd love to know your experience. The third topic is your experience during Cold War. That's something I learned in history book. And the first one is your experience after the disintegration of the Soviet Union, because that's a very important event, milestone in world history, right? The fifth is your experience of flying airplane, because I know you really like it. And the sixth one is you have moved to Seattle area, I think around 30 years old, right? So it has been over 60 years, something like that, I think. So I'm curious about how it changed for Seattle. And the last question, some, life wisdom give to the young people. Is that sounds good?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so let's go to the first topic.
Okay.
And as the first topic, my first specific question is, how's your childhood looks like?
Okay. What age is childhood?
Well, I mean, from when you have memory.
Oh, I can remember back to
several years old.
Like 4 years old.
Yeah, we can start from 4 years old. Yeah.
Well, I was born in 1932, which put us in
1932.
1932.
Yeah, 1932.
And that put us right in the Depression.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
The Great Depression is 29.
Yeah.
1929. Yeah.
And so people lost money then. My mother had some money because she worked as a nurse when she was single. And she had a couple $100, which was a lot of money back then. And it was gone. She lost.
So the hundreds of dollars she had is invested in the stock.
Yeah.
Because stock.
No, money, the banks.
Bankrupt.
The banks went bankrupt.
Which means that, for example, if you put your money in Chase, something like that, you don't invest in even stock.
That's right.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, and so she lost that. So we it's hard to explain because I feel my childhood was good. However, we were not wealthy. We had no money. But
you have farm, but
yeah, but we didn't own the farm. That was not ours.
So you work for someone?
My grandpa owned the farm, and my dad worked for him.
Oh, so got you.
We didn't own the farm.
Yeah.
So we lived in several different farms. We started out with the one near Fenwood, Wisconsin, and Nathan brought some pictures.
It's over here. Yeah, pictures.
And
sorry. We can just put those pictures over here. Or on the table.
Yeah. We didn't have a tractor at that time. That's
you? It's a sketch?
No, this is a pictures I bought. That
I got you.
We used to milk the cows by hand. And we would squirt the cat in the cat's mouth.
Interesting. Got you. So this, okay, you bought this picture, but this picture basically is what you are doing when you are a little boy. Let me see whether it's clear from the camera. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And this was bath time, and in any of the, and that's the kind of stove we had. That's a wood stove. Burnt firewood.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and we wash kids in such small.
Yeah, that would be for washing clothes, but we would wash our
little kids.
Yeah, Dad would get hot water, and we'd start out with the little one and next one. So everybody bathed in the same.
Same thing back in China. Even when I was young, I have such remember, but it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah. This is not for taking baths in, but that's what we used it for as children.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And Mom and Dad would do it last.
Yeah.
And this is.
I think that's too small for adults. Do you think it's too small for adults?
No, well, they would stand it in.
Okay, like a shower, like a shower.
Yeah. That's threshing grain.
This is all something you see. You will see when you are several years old, or
yeah, and we use steam for power. That's the steam engine. The threshed grain
and is this what?
This one was a little bit later. We farmed with horses.
Oh, so when you are a little kid, you farm with horses. This is something maybe even when you are a teenager or older.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, but I'm interested because, it's almost, it's very hard for me to imagine what kind of farmer life looks like back then. So, for example, what are you doing daily?
What's that?
I mean, what are you doing on a daily basis?
Oh, we're milking cows every day.
When you get up.
Morning and evening.
When you get up.
Yeah, when you get up and also before you go to bed.
Uh-huh.
Cows have to be milked morning and evening.
Uh-huh.
And during the day, we would be planting gardens and stuff like that.
So I know all your family are boys. You have six boys.
6 boys.
Yeah, 6 boys. And when you need to help the family, what's the age? From 10 years old, 8 years old?
Well, here, we get that one.
Oh, let me get it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is me. That's when I'm 18.
This handsome boy.
And this one is just I'm 93. He's just 90 this year.
Oh, is he also live near here or in another state?
Oregon.
Oregon. Oh, it's pretty close.
These two are dead. He was 93 when he died, and he was 91.
Okay.
And now the rest are living. So I'm the oldest now. He's the next oldest. Benny, he would be about 88 now. And Harlan is the youngest. He would probably be about 83.
Okay, your family really has a genes for longevity.
From her.
From your mom.
From my mom. My dad died at 60.
But that because of heart attack, right? If not because of the heart attack, maybe he can live also pretty long.
No, that family didn't live very long. my mom had 8 sisters, and a brother, and they all lived into their 90s. And
that's incredible.
The one that has the same birthday as I have, March 11, lived to 103. So
you mean your mom's sister?
Yes.
Basically, your aunt. She lived in 103.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And when my dad died at 60 years of age, Mom lived 31 more years. She
91.
died at 91.
91. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a family of longevity. That's so nice. Okay.
So then
this is grandpa and his brothers, his parents. Okay.
Because we were dairy farmers in northern Wisconsin, small dairy farmers raised all of the food that we fed the cows. So we had to raise hay, we had to raise oats and stuff for the horses. And so that was stuff that we would be doing during the week. And also we didn't have any money. But we had plenty to eat because we.
Yeah, you never starve.
Right.
Yeah, but how you go to school? Do you go to school or you study at home?
No, you go to school.
How you your dad will drive you to school or?
No, we walk to school.
Is that far from your house? Because I imagine a farm is pretty big.
Sometimes a mile, sometimes less. And we would just start early enough to walk.
Got you. So basically, what you are doing is that when you get up, you finish your daily work first, maybe milk the cow, collect the eggs, and then you walk to
then
school.
You walk to school.
And then walk back. Then help with family.
Yeah.
Do you have some time play or nowadays kids can play video games, whatever?
Yeah, kids, we would play at school, and we would play ball and so on. Dad would give us a piece of land, say as big as this house, and we would plant cucumbers there.
Cucumber.
They'd be dill pickles.
Okay. I guess I have some sense.
And then we would pick them and sell them, and we would get the money from that. So that's the only money we had as children.
Okay, that's your income. Where your income come from?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And potatoes, everything we would plant and hold them. Everything you have to do to get them to grow. So that was pretty much what we had.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think that my grandparents, when they are, in their childhood, I feel their lifestyle is also pretty same. They have like pig, cow, chicken, those stuff.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I have some sense. And the second question is that was there some key turning points or decisions in your life that dramatically change your path? Because even for me now, I look back in my past, more than 20 years, there are some point the decision I make hugely change the direction of my life. Can you remember like 2 or 3, something like that?
Yes, generally young children, they'll decide I want to be a fireman when I grow up. I want to be a policeman.
What do you want to become?
With me, that didn't happen. When I was a little boy, I was out and working with my dad in the field. I don't know what we were doing, but World War I biplane flew over.
World War I, but it's before your birth. World War I.
World War I is over.
Yeah.
But somebody bought a obsolete airplane privately. Then he's flying it over, and I looked up at that and I said, "That's what I'm going to be."
Got you.
I did not ever say I want to be a fireman. I want to be a policeman. I want to be.
You're a pilot.
Yes.
That's interesting because are you afraid of height?
Yeah, sort of. I don't like. If you had me cleaning the gutters up there, I'd be very unhappy.
Got you, but you feel comfortable because
in the airplane you're in.
It's a closed space.
Yeah.
But I don't know. When I was a little boy, when I saw the airplane fly across the sky, I also feel very excited. Never, ever, I will think, I want to do that someday. That's very interesting.
Yeah, that's it. And I guess I'm the only one that does fly. Gary flew a little bit, but and that's just, this guy.
He also fly?
He didn't take up flying, but yeah, he tried to fly, but he didn't.
Got you. And for the other boys, they don't have.
No.
Okay, so this is the only. I think he's your second. He's your little brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit younger than you. Got you. So basically, you are the only person.
Yeah.
Can fly in your whole family.
Yeah, I've got pilot's license. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're pretty young. Pretty early.
18 years old.
Yeah, it's really long ago. Yeah. Except for this part, any other things that also change, a lot for your.
Well, the war, of course, the war changed a lot. World War II.
Yeah, I mean, the World War II is something out of your control, but maybe there are something you can make decisions. Let's say you want to join the army, maybe something.
Oh, yeah. The same year that I graduated from high school, the Korean War started. So
1950.
1950.
Yeah, you are 18 years old. Yeah.
And so I knew what was going to happen to me. I was going to be drafted in the military, so I joined the Air Force instead.
Do you feel afraid?
No.
No? Because imagine there is a war going on, right? And you join the army and you don't know what you will do. And it's possible. You may lose your life, right?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that happened, of course, early in World War II, I was only 10 years old. So I was scared then. And that changed my thinking in a lot of things. That maybe they'll bomb my house. Because I didn't, at that age, you're not very good in geography. So I didn't know where Pearl Harbor was.
Oh, yeah, you felt it's something. Yeah, yeah, I understand.
I was worried about bombing our farm, maybe killing me. So I was concerned about that. And
so because you already have some sense of how war.
Yes.
So then when you are 18 years old, you are not so afraid.
Right.
Gotcha.
Well, one of the things that did do was get me thinking about what would happen if they killed me. And so that's when I started. I was 9 years old when that happened. When I was probably around May or June of the 10th year is when then I accepted Christ as my Savior, because I was concerned about where do I go if they kill me?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, and I understand. Yeah.
And so that was a major change in my life, and it changed your thinking about a lot of things. So, and my parents.
It's a pretty young age. 10 years old, something like that, or
yeah. For a child that's raised in my whole family were believers. My older brothers, 2 older brothers, used to make fun of me because I wasn't saved yet.
Oh yeah. Compared with your family, it's pretty late. Yeah. That's interesting. And the third question is that what core values that guide you through your life and how they have changed over time? Because human souls is pretty weak, right? When everything goes well, we are so happy, we are so proud of ourselves, we think we are so great. But when everything doesn't work, we feel so down, we feel lose confidence about ourselves. So what's the core value help you go through all those ups and downs?
Well, one of the things that a believer does is consider, when I joined the Air Force, I mean, I prayed about that before I joined. And
what do you pray for?
Whether I should, whether I should or not. And
got you. You are not sure whether you should join or not.
Yeah, and then of course that decision was taken away from me. I had to either join or get.
You have no option.
That's right.
Yeah, that's war, right?
And all this is the only guy that didn't go in any military at all.
Oh, what?
He was fighting on the front lines in Korea. I was in the Korean War. I was not on the front lines. He was in the United States, but his job was to clean up after if poison gas got dumped or something, he would have to go into that area and clean it up. Benny was a helicopter in Germany, and he joined the reserves, so that in the war they could call him, but he never went in. But all of us except him joined something.
Oh, why? Are your oldest brother?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Well, I don't know why he didn't get drafted or anything.
Got you. Yeah, that's interesting. So only your oldest brother didn't join the army for all those boys. I feel surprised because if in your family almost every boy joins the army, then I can imagine the other families in America at that time. Almost every family.
Yeah. Our next door neighbors, their boys went in the military, and most of them. But it depends on what. Certain jobs were what do they call it, deferred. They didn't have to go in because their job was important, what they're doing.
Oh,
if I had been working for Boeing then on a government contract,
makes sense because you are farmer. Because you are farmer, so you.
Well, that's my dad went in World War II. See, in World War I, he was too young.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, in World War II.
Yeah.
To sign up with the draft board.
I got you.
And he said, they said, what's your situation? He said, well, I have a farm and I have 6 boys. They said, you go home and take care of that farm. That's more important for the war effort.
Oh, yeah, of course, because it is supply the food, right? I understand. So it's important to have a good job.
Yeah.
when there's a war.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So go back to this question. What kind of a value, like integrity, honesty, or flexibility? What is a value? What is a core value when you look back for those net years? Yeah.
I guess I'm having a hard time with that question.
Yeah, I mean, value. What you.
Well, the value wasn't money. The value was what we needed for living and so on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the value is your understanding about the world, right?
Yeah.
Like some people, for them, freedom is most important. For some people, honesty is most important.
Yeah.
What's most important for you?
It's freedom, and by freedom, I don't necessarily mean I don't know.
Yeah, I get your point. I think that when you talk about freedom, maybe what you are talking about is that you hope you can make decisions in a free way rather than someone force you, right?
Yeah, that's right.
To do something. You like flying, so you want to become a pilot.
Yeah, and my parents were not happy about that originally.
Why?
So when I was a little boy, they would drive miles so they wouldn't go by an airport where I would see airplanes.
Why?
Because they didn't want it. And so then years later, I've been away from them for years. I'm in Massachusetts, and I call, and I had a chance to buy a little airplane.
Oh.
So I always sent my money home, and they put it in the bank. And I said, if you need money, you take it out of my bank account, because farming sometimes was up and down. And
oh, yeah, I understand.
And so I asked my dad to send me $300.
Got you.
And he sent it and said, good luck. And so then later on, when I flew home with the airplane, he was flying, he was in the field.
He must be very surprised.
Yeah. And I flew down the road. Well, he knew I was coming,
okay.
But I flew down the road that he was working on. And then I flew up to the town where the airport was, and I waited there, and he came and picked me up. So yeah, by that time they were on board of my flying.
I guess that moment is very special for you. I think you still can remember it very clearly, even today. Yeah.
And I flew over all the neighbors' houses.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
Because I would say when I was a kid, I want to fly. Yeah, I can't do that. You have to have a mathematical degree, and you have to be smart, and you have to all. And then I flew over all their houses. They thought, oh, this kid's made it.
I think that's
My neighbor, Mrs. Springer, says,
you must be.
we all told him he couldn't do it, and now he could spit right down on us if he wanted to.
You must feel very proud at this moment.
Yeah, I probably did.
Because people say you cannot do something, but you do it. You prove that you can make it. That's something I
guess so.
Yeah. It must be. Okay, so let's go to the second topic. So just now, actually, we already